is Mr. Lewis.
Okay. Thank you. Supervisor and town board members, my name is Neil Lewis. I live at 513 Central Avenue in Massapequa. It's a pleasure to be here today. I thank you for the decision made at your last hearing to hold this item over and to keep the hearing open. It's also a pleasure to be here on Earth Day. I've always been a great admirer of some of the leadership this town has for a number of years on environmental programs, so it's a positive thing for me to be here at the town today and all the good work that you do. The issue that I'm speaking to today in terms of carbon monoxide detectors is an issue that involves energy concerns. It's an issue that clearly involves a major safety concern, but it also has a health element which you're taking action to address by the changes you've made today. I got involved in this issue because I work at the Sustainability Institute at Malloy College, and our effort there includes an initiative to encourage homeowners to have home energy audits done. And there's a state law that provides mechanisms for that to happen at low or no cost. And the program's a great program. People are very happy with it. But one of the things we learned at a number of the meetings was a surprising number of people that do the home energy audits were indicating that a lot of the homes do have low levels of carbon monoxide in the home at the time that they come to do the home energy audit. Our research showed that the New England Journal of Medicine has indicated that there's a range of symptoms that people can suffer from when they're exposed to a low level of carbon monoxide. By itself, that will not kill somebody, it will not knock them out, but the trigger of 70 parts per million that causes the alarm to go off, while it's a good safety measure, it doesn't address these other health concerns that people can be experiencing: migraines, dizziness, nausea, a range of health issues. So I've submitted to you today a letter from NICOSH, which is a highly respected statewide organization, New York Committee for Occupational Safety and Health, and their 4-page memo very much embraces our call to you and urging you to expand the requirement for carbon monoxide detectors to also include the digital readout. And so I gave you their letter again today. You may recall at the last hearing I also submitted a letter that was signed by 10 organizations supporting this point. The letter also, I have attached a best practices and policies, which includes some 12 suggestions that we're recommending. Suggestion number 4 addresses the requirement that all buildings should have carbon monoxide detectors. As you know, since our last hearing and today, the fire marshal for Nassau County has announced a change in the way in which carbon monoxide detectors are required in county buildings that should capture essentially all the buildings. Number 5 on our list is to say that the carbon monoxide detectors should also have the digital readout so that we can have this information and use this tool so that we know when there's this low level of exposure. So we've been working on this issue and encouraging these actions, and of course everything changed on February 22nd when there was a terrible tragedy at Walt Whitman Mall where a worker died, a manager of the store, and 28 additional people were rushed to the hospital. Sometimes tragedies serve to identify deficiencies in laws that are designed to protect the public, and clearly this was one of those cases. However, we think that people have only focused on half of the story, which was that the level of carbon monoxide was so high that day that it killed Stephen Nelson, and it caused many other people to be sent to the hospital. But the other part of the story was made part of the record at the Brookhaven Town Board hearing, where a family friend of Stephen Nelson indicated that it is the belief of the family that he was exposed to carbon monoxide at lower levels for a period of many weeks, and that he was experiencing a range of symptoms that are common with low-level carbon monoxide poisoning. So we believe the Stephen Nelson story is not just a story about the safety issue and the fact that we must have carbon monoxide detectors to catch the high level of carbon monoxide that can kill people and warn us and get us out of the building, but it also speaks to the fact that we shouldn't be going to work every day in an environment where there could be a low level of carbon monoxide, and it should be pointed out for the record that OSHA has set a standard of 50 parts per million for carbon monoxide, but the alarms don't go off until 70. So the only way to capture that difference would be with these digital readouts. And so with all that said, I truly commend the town of North Hempstead for the actions you're looking to do in terms of supporting adding this element to the law. I think that today we, in part, you would be helping to send a strong message to the state that there is some real need for a revision to the state law. But in the meantime, we can begin to really provide a much greater level of safety, but also begin to provide workplace health provisions so that people have a right, if they're experiencing symptoms that may be an indication of low-level carbon monoxide, to ask the question, do we have carbon monoxide in this workplace? And at least those buildings that will be subject to your action today would provide the workers of those buildings with that tool. And that's what this, I think, is really all about, is giving them that tool. And I do want to point out that there's other items in our list of 12. I would love to perhaps come back in the future, and some of those capture more of the energy aspect, that when we find out about problems with carbon monoxide, they're almost always linked to systems that were not being properly maintained. They're old, they need to be upgraded, they should be more energy efficient in the process of being maintained properly and upgraded. So the issue does tie into that energy aspect of all of this. With that said, I thank you for your time.
So, Mr. Lewis, we so appreciate your coming down here, sharing your expertise with us, which you did last time and have done this time, and certainly your comments reached us. The comments, especially about the digital readout, was very compelling, and especially because this way people will have the ability to see if the carbon monoxide is in fact increasing, and we don't need to wait till bells and whistles go off. So I thank you for coming, for sharing your thoughts with us, and I hope that it will be in more communication so that you can share your expertise with us in the future.
Thank you, Sue. Democracy is working here in the town of North Hempstead. You held a hearing, people raised concerns, and you assigned some of your team to look into it, and they came back with some proposals and changes in the law, and I do really think that that's a statement about how government many times is the best at the local level. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to offer the resolution and move for its adoption.
And close the public hearing.
And close the public hearing.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeGiorgio.
Aye.
Councilman Ferrara.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kaplan.
Aye.
Councilwoman Russell.
Aye.
Councilwoman Seaman.
Aye.
Councilman Zuckerman.
Aye.
Supervisor Boswell.
Aye.